Hello and welcome to today's video. This time I'm delighted to be able to share with you my review of Fargo, Hell on Wheels, a brand new graphic novel from Gizmo Press. So sit back, relax, and let's take a look. So here we are then, John Benteen's Fargo, Hell on Wheels, adapted by none other than Howard Chaykin. Now, Chaykin's certainly somebody I've been a fan of ever since I can remember, really, ever since first coming across his work. And this is a gorgeous hardback of one of the Fargo novels by John Benteen, of which there's quite a few. Now, John Benteen is no longer with us, but publisher Michael Stradford was able to get permission to get this first story adapted, and well, what a fantastic job that's been done of it, really. Now, it was crowdfunded, so that's why it's taken so long to actually come through, and it was adapted, and every page was drawn by Howard Chaykin as well, which is not a swift process, shall we say, but the attention to detail in this is absolutely fantastic. And that was the main thing about it, apart from myself wishing that it was twice as long as it actually was, because I read this one in just a single sitting, but I just couldn't put it down. It was so great. Thankfully, I have been in contact with publisher Michael Stradford, and he graciously has answered a few of the questions that I had for him, but I thought we'd have a little look through. I wanted to point out little bits like this, so like this scene here in the waiting room or on the platform of the station for the train. Just the detail in the posters just on the wall there, absolutely love it. Obviously the book is historically accurate, which is just what you would want from something like this. And just look at this, look at the detail, absolutely superb. I mean, just so good. It really was. I mean, I can't praise it enough. Great action. I mean, such a great job has been done with this one, and the story moves along at a real swift pace. This I found particularly touching. So this is dedicated, this first volume, to the memory of Carl Weathers. And Carl, it says here, Carl was a big supporter of mine in general, and this graphic novel in particular. He bought the book, paid to be drawn in a crowd scene in the story, and pushed it on his own social media pages. We talked often, and every other conversation he'd say, "How's Howard coming along with Fargo?" He was truly interested in the success of the book and was a great friend whose passing affected people around the world. He's not wrong there. Endless thanks to master artist Dennis Cohen for supplying this perfect illustration of Carl. I knew he'd bring the thunder. And that's from the publisher there, Michael Stradford. Yeah, a real sad passing there. But there we are, and we've got a gallery at the back of the book as well, which is brilliant. So different artists have brought their own interpretation of what Fargo would look like. And there's a bit of background as well here about bringing the adaptation to life. It's really interesting. So there's all the extras that come with this this graphic novel. I don't want to give too much away, but you can see it's just great stuff. It really is. So I'll go into my a little sort of Q&A with Michael, so we get a little bit more background as I flick through the book. So I said, when did you first come across the series? And he says, I initially became aware of Fargo while researching the career of model Steve Holland. Holland posed for a gigantic number of paperback covers in the 60s through to the early 90s, most notably as Doc Savage, but he essayed many other characters. When I interviewed illustrator Ron Lesser, he told me about the many times that he had painted Holland, and Fargo was one of those characters. When I found out that the character was loosely based on the Lee Marvin character from one of my favourite Western films, The Professionals, from 1966, I decided to give the first novel a read. 23 adventures later, I was hooked. Now, I have to say, since I've read this, I've actually got my eyes peeled for some original Fargo paperbacks. They're not so easy to find in the UK as they are in America, but they were published over here, so you're going to need to do a little bit of research. A cursory look on eBay did find a few, but they do tend to be in the £10 to £15 per book mark nowadays. So I then asked Michael, how did Gizmo Press and your collaboration with Howard come about? So Howard had been a dear friend for years, and we often exchange recommendations for film, television shows and books that we've enjoyed. In fact, he introduced me to the world of Jack Reacher shortly after we met. Surprisingly, he had never heard of Fargo. I sent him a couple of books, and he, like me, became an instant fan. At some point, I tracked down the author's estate and told Howard that I was going to investigate what rights might be available. He said, get the graphic novel rights and he'd adapt the book. There was no way I'd miss out on an opportunity like that. So Joel Hass, son of author Ben Hass, aka John Benteen, and I cut a quick, easy deal, and here we are. Now, is the hunt now on for a replacement artist for the second book, or has a new talent been found, or is it under wraps? So, although Howard Chaykin is going to adapt the second volume in this series, he's not actually going to draw it. And there was an artist all lined up who sadly passed away. So Michael explains, he says, this is the only sad part of my Fargo story. Butch Geiss, an incredible artist and a true gentleman, was on board to draw the second Fargo adventure, Panama Gold, but he passed away after a brief illness. Howard adapted the script with Butch in mind. He was really as excited to see Butch's work on the character as I was. Butch was really thrilled to work on what he saw as a classic adventure story and was really looking forward to doing the book, but it wasn't to be. With his realistic, gritty style, Butch's Fargo would have been built on the visual foundation that Howard laid. I'm talking with a couple of artists now about possibly taking the book on, waiting to get samples of their take on Neil Fargo. We'll be pushing the Kickstarter campaign back from this summer to sometime in 2026. So if you decide to get this one and you become a fan, that will be a real way to support the next volume. Now he says, Michael goes on to say, I'm grateful and deeply appreciative for the enthusiastic response to the book since it's been released. We're talking with a couple of distributors now to expand the availability of the book beyond the crowdfunding campaign and our Gizmo Press website. People responded positively to the back matter that we included in the book, an article on how the book came together, the tribute to Carl Weathers, which we've just had a look at, with an exclusive illustration drawn by Dennis Cowan, a process piece by Howard, and afterward by the author's son, and the artist portfolio, which featured a diverse collection of takes on Neil Fargo by some of the most popular artists working in comics today. And that's what we saw right at the very end here, this like gallery of artists. Absolutely fantastic. All were excited to be part of introducing a fresh character to the world of graphic novels, one that didn't wear tights. Having guys like Lee Weeks, Eduardo Riso, Walt Simonson, Frank Joe, Steve Epting, Butch Geiss and more draw Fargo gave the character instant credibility and helped create some familiarity with his world. Now, this new volume will also have another artist portfolio, a tribute to Butch Geiss, featuring every piece of Fargo art that he ever did, including the prelims, an essay by noted bookseller Lynn Monroe on Fargo and his creator, and a piece I wrote about the faces of Fargo from screen to print to graphic novel. So there you are. So that's a really great background on this. As you can see, an absolutely beautiful, beautiful book. Now, I've got the details of where you can buy this one bang up to date, so you can get it direct. There is a website set up so you can buy copies of this one. Now, when it was originally launched as a crowd-funded effort, if you got in early, which I did, you could get copies which included this plate, signed none other than by Howard Chaykin. How absolutely amazing is that? And I had the foresight to get an extra copy. So I've got two signed ones. One of them is my own, and I've got one that I can give away right now to one lucky viewer. So what you need to do to be in with a chance to win one of these, and you can enter from anywhere in the world. I'm happy to post this worldwide. What I'd like you to do is share this video to your own social media. So that could be on a Facebook page, it could be onto Instagram, it could be onto Twitter / X or Blue Sky. Just get the word out there, and then everyone, and then leave a comment to say that you've actually shared it to your own social media. Obviously, please subscribe to my channel as well. And if you meet all those criteria, I'll put those names into a proverbial electronic hat. And in about a month's time after this video goes out, I'll upload a little YouTube short and we'll take a name at random from the spinning wheel. And I'll be in contact with that person directly through YouTube. And I shall get you a copy of Fargo signed by the great Howard Chaykin to add to your collection. So that's a really, really great prize, that one. And and dead easy to enter, completely free. Just spread the word about this video and let as many people find out about Fargo as possible. So there you go. Hope you like that little look through. I really encourage you, even if you don't win the signed one, to head on over to the website and pick up a copy yourself. You won't be disappointed. It's an absolutely fantastic read. And if I had any criticism at all, it's I just wish it was twice as long as it was, because I enjoyed it that much. It's superb. So there you go. Thanks very much for watching this little look through John Betteen's Fargo, Hell on Wheels. Certainly a fantastic, fantastic graphic novel. If you've enjoyed today's video, do please give it the thumbs up. Do please hit the subscribe button if you've not already for regular vintage content, and I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.